Hi, I'm Dave, the host and creator of Dopey, the podcast on drugs, addiction, and dumb shit. Everyone has been saying I should start making YouTube videos, so I figured I'd start with something I know nothing about, the daily reflections. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but I know it's gonna be great. Trust me.
Good morning, Dopey. Your favorite podcast. Now make YouTube show.
Good morning, Dopey. And welcome to Good Morning Dopey, an exploration of daily reflections through the eyes of Dopey, the podcast on drugs, addiction, dumb shit, as seen on YouTube by you guys. So welcome. My name is Dave. And before we get into it, I want to give a disclaimer. Good Morning Dopey, daily reflections, yada, 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 has nothing to do with AA. Don't take this as AA's word. If you're an alcoholic, good for you. If you go to AA, good for you. But this is not wisdom and guidance and shit. This is me trying to understand the daily reflection with you guys. I have been sober for a little over 6 years. I have never used the daily reflection. It is an experiment for me to try to read it, understand it, explain it to you. It is an opportunity for you to put comments in this thing and tell me what I'm wrong about, what you think, what you like, what you don't like, all that stuff. Like and subscribe. That's what they say in this world, so I'm going to say it. Howie, my friend and producer, is like, tell him to like and subscribe. Little does Howie know that with every like, I get a little bit of high. I get a little serotonin to my brain with the little thumbs up. So if you like it, I'll get a little bit high. And they don't have real social media addiction yet, but I'm sure one day there will be an SMA, social media addicts, and people are like, I need the likes too bad. My brain is too plugged in for the likes, man. And I only hope that I never get there. So you don't need to like it, but if you like it, you like it. You subscribe. Enough. Today is November day 4th, and it is Thursday. A daily discipline. When they, self-examination, meditation, and prayer, are logically related and interwoven, the result is an unshakable foundation for life. And that is from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book, page 98. What I forgot to mention is that the 12 months of the year in the daily reflections all relate to the 12 steps of AA. The 11th step is related to the 11th month, which is November. And the 11th step says, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will. That's what it says. And the power to carry that out. So that's the step 11. We've been talking about step 11 and these three things: self-examination, meditation, and prayer. And it's amazing. It's like, let's say you want to lose weight. You eat less sugar, you eat less fat, you eat less carbs, and you exercise, and you will lose weight. If you do self-examination, meditation, and prayer, you will be less encumbered with bullshit. The last three steps of the program invoke God's loving discipline upon my willful nature. Now this one's getting out there. The last three steps of the program invoke God's loving discipline upon my willful nature. I have a willful nature, and I could use loving discipline. If I devote just a few moments every night to a review of the highlights of my day, along with an acknowledgement of those aspects that didn't please me so much, I gain a personal history of myself, one that is essential to my journey into self-discovery. Now, I know people that do this. They're in bed. I imagine them all cozy in bed, and next to the bed is a little journal with a nice pen, and they write down all the things they did they liked, and they write down all the things they didn't like, and that's a daily inventory. I've never done that, so maybe I'll do that. I've always wanted to do that. If you guys do it, let me know if it pays off. I think with all of these things, the most important thing is consistency. All right, here we go. I was able to note my growth or lack of it and to ask in prayerful meditation to be relieved of those continuing shortcomings that cause me pain. All right. I have a ton of shortcomings. It's getting hot. I have a ton of shortcomings that cause me pain. I do. And meditation and prayer help lessen that shit. Meditation and prayer also teach me the art of focusing and listening. I find that the turmoil of the day gets tuned out as I pray for His will and guidance. This is interesting to me because it's very easy for me to pray in the morning and for me to meditate in the morning and then have something during the day make me annoyed, get upset, and I lose peace and I lose focus. There's a guy that at my meeting, and he says he constantly prays when he feels that turmoil. And that's something that I could do better. It really it's just like to get you back on the beam, back on the beam. Do you guys know about this back on the beam? Howie, do you know about this back on the beam? Most people think it is like balance beam, but that is not what back on the beam is. What I've heard is that when they talk about being on the beam, that the lighthouse, by the shore projects a beam of light. And if a boat is not on the beam, the boat often crashes in to the rocks on the shore. So to be on the beam is to follow the path of least resistance. And I don't like to sound preachy, but to be on the beam is to try to do the next right thing, try to be unencumbered by bullshit. Life is not easy. I make a million mistakes. I like to do things that are not necessarily great for me. I'm no saint. I'm just trying to make sense of this book through this new YouTube series called Good Morning Dopey. So I hope you're with me. And if you don't like this, it's too preachy for you, write it in the comments. But I'm just trying to make sense of this thing. Get off my back, Howie. I'm just trying to make sense of this thing. All right. The practice of asking Him to help me. Is that right? Meditation and prayer also teach me the art of focusing and listening. I find that the turmoil of the day gets tuned out as I pray for His will and guidance. The practice of asking Him to help me in my strivings for perfection puts a new slant on the tedium of any day because I know there is honor in any job done well. Yeah, I'm never focused on perfection. So the practice of asking Him to help me in my strivings for perfection puts a new slant. This one is a little weird. Puts a new slant on the tedium of any day. I don't know what that means exactly. Striving for perfection, putting a new slant on the tedium of the day, because I know there is honor in any job done well. I try to strive to have as good a day as possible, to fuck up as little as possible, and that's good enough for me. One of the great cliches is progress, not perfection. The daily discipline of prayer and meditation will keep me in fit spiritual condition, able to face whatever the day brings without the thought of a drink. And that's the whole thing. Now, I find myself somewhat more spiritually fit when I do these things and I pray and I meditate. However, I still have bad days and I still make mistakes and I still go crazy over it. So if I take this daily meditation, this daily reflection, and I remember to reconnect to this higher power when things get fucked up, my day can be better. That is what I think I've just learned. If you've learned something else, write it in the comments. If you like this thing, like it. If you don't like it, you should like it too, just because you'll have pity on me. Also, subscribe. Also, stay strong, Dopey Nation, and fucking toodles for Chris.